Hey, I got a bit of a political question. How do you feel coming from where you're coming from? It's something that I consider a lot because I don't know how it is in your country so much, although I have lived there for a while. Once you're a famous person, people think that's all you are and that's all you've ever known. You know, this is, I guess, why a lot of people who enjoy reading this book, seeing where you're coming from, the sheer amount of times you find yourself naked and in fist fights and brawling and stuff. Like, sometimes I feel that people don't reckon that people come from anywhere. Now, we live in a time, I feel, in my country and yours, where there's this sort of, I have sensed a lot of condemnation and criticism of what I might describe as ordinary working people, a kind of offhandedness of like, oh, they're dumb, they're voting for Brexit, they're voting for Trump. I don't like it, and I don't like to hear it because of my own experiences and my own upbringing, which I'll happily testify are not nearly so dramatic as yours there, but like in terms of where I sit in a class grid, it's, you know, like and I spend enough time with people that are being described in this manner to feel ill at ease with it. How do you feel about like that kind of judgment? How do you feel when you talk about these values that you were describing earlier? Do you feel that there is a way of meshing together these apparently disparate groups now, these liberal professional classes and these what you might describe as working ordinary people of any color or variety?
That's my hope. I do think so, because the work I've got to do is defining the science behind why they're valuable, the science behind why they work, the science behind why that doesn't mean you have to now come over, and it doesn't mean that you're coming over to the proverbial other side. I say this, you know, I say, I'll meet you in the middle. I actually think that is more of a dare right now than it's ever been.
Yeah.
That spot again is not like, oh no, not going there. Somebody said to me that I said, oh yeah, meet you in the middle. You know, it's in the middle of the road, McConaughey, yellow lines and dead armadillos. I said, let me tell you something, bud. I said, I'm walking down the yellow line right now, and the armadillos are running free, having a great time. I said, you know why? I said, the other two sides, the two vehicles on either side of the political aisle are so far apart, their fucking tires aren't even on the pavement anymore. I mean, so trust me, it's free over here. There's plenty of room, you know? And I almost feel like it's a move to say, no, let's get aggressively centric. I dare you. It's not a recession. It's an aggressive move. And if it's framed like that, one, I think that can relate to a lot of people on the right of going, well, you dare me? You know, it's like this COVID thing. It's like, had to go, whoa, this enemy doesn't want hand-to-hand combat. Don't run out on the street with your gun and knives to try and fight this one. That's what he wants. You know what I mean? It's actually an aggressive move to actually stay home. You know what I mean? But it had to be reframed in a little bit. Look, on the other side, on the far left, that would go, well, there is a lot on that illiberal left that absolutely condescend, patronize, and are arrogant towards that other 50%. Many people were I'm sure you saw it in our industry when Trump was voted in 4 years ago. They were in denial that it was real. And some of them were in absolute denial. And even now, we're going to see if we can stabilize coming out of, looks like Biden's our guy. Well, now you've got the right that's in denial because they're saying it's fake news. And I understand they've been fed fake news. No one knows who the hell to believe, right? So they're putting down their last bastion of defense. So, you know, that left has to see, this is, I want to stay on topic, but this is where the left misses it for me, just as far as being a marketeer of a political side. When you say, hey, we want to get out the vote, we want people to be able to go vote. We're going to do a campaign to let people vote. I'm like, 100%. Yes, everyone. Is there anyone who would say no to that? That's universal. You have 100% of the audience going, I'm in. That's a constitutional right as an American. I'm in. Yes. And then they can't help themselves. At the very end of it, they go, so We don't let those criminal bastards get back in office. You're going, whoa. You're like, no, don't say the last part. You lost 50% of your audience. And that's, part of why so much of the nation of that 50% looks at us in Hollywood as like going, oh, yeah, another celebrity over there on the West Coasters and the elite in the Northeast. And that's what y'all say. Because even from just a sales point of view, don't tab that gotcha on the end. And then you have your audience is twice as big and you're getting what you want. Even you're getting twice as much as you're getting two times as much as you would if you just didn't tab on that little stick it to them at the end. It's going to the left is going to have to understand the science of the values and the meat in the middle. The left will have to understand, okay, I understand I can add this up neurologically, scientifically. I see I see the supply, I understand the demand, I see the credit sheet, I see the numbers. The numbers work out. It's scientific because it's got to be more than just feel good. I believe there is science to it. I need to still working on what is that measurement of those values. Is that measurement that, say, if I pilot city, my first pilot city is Austin, Texas, is that measurement, a friend of mine said this the other day, is a possible measurement that 10 years down the road, Austin is the B Corp capital headquarters of the world? That'd be a pretty cool measurement. What's the crime rate? What's the divorce rate? What's the rate of how happy our employers are? Can we have a place where businesses also have the same values that Austin, Texas has businesses that have the highest rate of happiness, percentage of happiness for employers that work for somebody? So I'm working out those measurements with the value campaign. And if I can get those, that's something measurable that I can hand you in the elevator pitch and go, here's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's very cool. And even within that, this suggestion of alternative metrics is the idea that our entire way of measuring what is valuable has been biased to such a alarming degree that it's created this kind of chasm of mistrust. Everyone knows that if you can't participate economically in this system, you are not valuable, you will not be heard. I think that's fascinating because it sort of does seem in the type of economic and social systems that we're currently living within are experiencing a sort of end game, and people are reluctant to hear alternatives and what that might look like. So I think that sounds real bold work, Matthew, to look into the metrics.
What do we, especially in America, tell you you're successful for? What do we give you a praise on the back? What gets you the front seat, the best seat at the table, to the front of the line?
Your fame and money.
Fame and money. Boom. There we go. That's 1 and 2. So there was like 10,000 young 13-year-old girls were interviewed. There was a poll. This is about, I think, 10, 12 years ago. So what do you want to do? I want to be famous. How are you going to get famous? I think over 30% of the answers was, I'm going to make a sex tape.
Wow, fucking hell.
Now, come on now. I think we can all agree on both sides. Hey, now, wait a minute. We got our values skewed about what people will do to get there. Again, it's short money. It's today with social media. I raise myself up momentarily. I feel my ego momentarily if I put you down. Meaning not because we're a nation, we're a world that cheers louder when our opponent misses a shot than we are happy when we make a shot. That's not the way forward. I think we can see that one is affirmative, one's contradictory. One is checking in with self and going, yes, I have an innate ability. I worked at it. I was in the moment. I made the shot. Yes, I can look in the mirror and go, you're responsible for that, as well as a whole bunch of other people. But we don't forget that one. Let's just rubberneck through life and sit there and just go, yeah, look, they wrecked. Yeah. That's short money. That's not ROI. That's a battery powered green light. That ain't a solar powered green light. That's in a little 2-volt battery. It's going to dim real quick, and you're going to need another fix. Someone else to put down, someone else to down thumb, someone else to comment, someone else to snide. It's that person. We've all done it. I've been this guy before. The person at the party who gets everyone together and tells you this great thing, little inside joke on Leslie over there or Johnny over there that they wouldn't say in front of them because it's kind of dirt. And in the moment, we all laugh our ass off because it was a great joke. But then when we walk away, we inherently lose respect for that guy. It's short money.
Sure. Yeah. You're right. Part of my own relationship with God is to try to find within myself, my temporal self, my transient, passing, dying right now self, where I can access eternal principles, honor, integrity, decency, kindness, and one by one try to eliminate things that don't make sense to me. I don't feel good about myself when I criticize other people. I don't feel good about myself, and it's sort of somewhat like you said, stealing from my future self when I practice those things. There are some simple principles, but I guess what I feel like is, when you're talking about those values of those young people there, that's not happening in a void, obviously, and I understand that that's your point, that they are seeing success achieved via objectification and disposable sex. And I think about my own life, the kind of messaging I received: if you ain't famous, if you ain't got money, you're nothing. And that's not from my family, from my mother. That was from the culture I lived in.
Yes.
So these things aren't happening. How do people? Where's the point? Where are the institutions? Education institutions are primarily preparing people for a life of you better become a valuable commodity to this system, otherwise you are discarded. Where are people saying you are valuable, you are beautiful, but you have duties and responsibilities? These ideas are lost in the morass of this sort of the pyramidal structures that have, I would say, reached tipping point.
I'm with you, man. I mean,
if you enjoyed that extract, go over to Luminary Podcasts. Go over to. Hold on a minute. Look, wait a sec. I've got this on a bit of paper. I've written it down. Oh, where's my tissue? Oh, Nanny needs the laffy. Hold on a sec. Django, where does it say the actual facts of the matter? Oh yeah, here are them facts. You can get a subscription for as little as $2.99 a month with Luminary's annual plan, plus a 7-day free trial. It's just free. Or admittedly, it's a trial, but it's free. Go there, see if you like it, listen to it, think, is this worth $2.99? Because didn't we all learn from Social Dilemma, if you're not paying for the product, you are the product. That's the reality. You're being advertised to, you're being corralled into unlovely spaces, blitzed and bombarded with needless products at a time when, frankly, we need to be looking at new values, ethics and spiritual systems. And who's the fella to dream them up for you? Why, it's the old toucan himself, I am. So go over to Luminary Podcasts and sign up if you wanna. Under the Skin's on there. There's loads of amazing people. Who are some good people that have been on Under the Skin?
Reza
Aslan. He's been on there. What about Tony Robbins? What about you, Demai? Who did you like? Brené Brown, Gabor Mate. It's just a deep, rich well of beauty is what I'd call it, if you can imagine that senseless metaphor for a moment. All right, so join me over at Luminary for the rest of these Under the Skins and all the... a lot of people think it says Under the Shin, by the way, so we're changing the font, because who wants to go have a look under the shin? What are you going to find there? Marrow, isn't it? Marrow, that's what's under the shin. Under the skin, ooh, the depth, the complexity, the inner workings. Under the shin, marrow. All right, thank you.